Well, hello, my name's Mandy and my channel is Mandy Sorts It Out. And my video today is on, well, it's not on New Year's resolutions because I don't do New Year's resolutions. It's on goals and ambitions. And I thought I'd go through some fairly long-term goals and ambitions. I've written them down. There were 15 that came to mind when I thought about doing this video. 11 of those are already started. 3 are due to start imminently, and 1 is a bit of a future goal. And then I watched a video from Lena Norms, which was called The Death of Personal Goals, in which she talked about how we have responsibility at this time to be doing things for our community, because at this moment we are under threat. And I don't know if I think we're under threat more than we have been at other times in history, but I was very interested in the video, and she talked about community goals. And when she talked about them, I realized I was already doing some of those already. So I've added 2 community goals that I'll talk about. So here goes. There are 5 of these goals that if you're a regular viewer, you will know about because I've mentioned them already on the channel. The first one is decluttering. Now it's a bit dark today. In fact, I'll go switch the light on in here. Yeah, even though it's sunny outside, it's still a bit dark. It's just that time of year. But decluttering is one of my long-term goals that I've already started. And this pile of stuff here, this is my clutter. And it lives in my lounge and it annoys the heck out of me when I look at it. But lately I haven't done an awful lot on it because other things have sort of taken priority. And that's just the way it is. That's the way things are going at the moment. That doesn't mean I haven't done any decluttering because I've just put a few things on Vinted. I had a move around of my room and there was a few things I was looking at thinking, yeah, that needs to go. So I put some more things on Vinted and I've actually had some Vinted sales. So that's really good. But all of that is part of the decluttering long-term goal that I have. The next goal that I've discussed on this channel is losing weight. And as I've said, I have been losing weight for quite some time and I want to carry on losing weight, but not fast. I want to lose slowly and gradually throughout the next year. And that's as far as I'm thinking at the moment. Another goal that you will have seen or I discussed was that I'm on a low salt diet. And I talk about this almost every time I do a food shop. Not every time now though, almost every time, but not every time. I've kind of settled into it. You will have noticed if you're a long-term watcher, it's not as stressing me out as much as it was before. This is becoming routine for me. This is becoming the norm. I'm beginning to know what kind of things I can eat without having to check constantly on the backs of everything. And it's becoming normal. I'm not feeling as deprived as I was when I first started going on a low salt diet. And that means I'm not eating as much in the way of sweets and sugary things that are low salt to make up to myself for the fact I can't eat the things I want to eat. So that's going fairly well. And I imagine that will become like it is with the fact that I'm lactose intolerant. I will just routinely, automatically eat a diet that's good for the low salt, I think, eventually. But that is the goal, is for me to remain on a low salt diet, and hopefully when I have my next blood test, my sodium levels won't be as high as they were last time. The next goal that I've discussed in this channel is figuring out my financial future. Yeah, I still haven't worked it out. I still don't exactly know. I know some of the building blocks. I know the pensions I will get and when I will get them. What I've decided to do is actually create an Excel spreadsheet about how much money is predicted to come in and when it will come in. And I can do several spreadsheets, one for if I leave things as they are, another one if I start claiming this money early, which I can do. I can claim some of the pensions early. And that might help me figure things out. But at the moment, I'm not getting very much further on figuring things out. Things are still stewing in my head and I'm still mulling them over. And of course, the most obvious one is living to a budget. I mean, it's not just mentioned on this channel. This channel is to help me do that. That's why this channel exists, is to help me live on a budget. So, yep, you will know about that one. So what are the other ones? There are another 6 I've started. The first one is a reading ambition. And I'm trying to read my way through all of the Booker Prize winners and all of the Women's Prize for Fiction Prize winners. These are 2 awards that are made in the UK to writers. The book has been going for years and years. I'll put the date up when it started. And the Women's Prize for Fiction hasn't been going as long. Again, I'll put the date up. I should have checked that out before, but I didn't. I'm about 2/3 of the way through the Booker Prize winners and about 3/4 through the Women's Prize for Fiction winners. And I would say, on the whole, I find the Women's Prize for Fiction winners to be more enjoyable books to read. Some of the Booker Prize winners have been a bit tedious. I've been kind of gritting my teeth and getting through them. I try and read about 2 or 3 of the Booker Prize winners a year, and about the same for the Women's Prize for Fiction. This means obviously tracking them down at libraries and reserving them. And I've actually bought one of the books. It's called Sacred Hunger. It's humongous. It's in my bookshelf now. And that's because I couldn't find it in Leicestershire libraries at all. But obviously, some of the older books are quite hard to track down. The other reading goal I've got, which I'm counting as part of the same goal, is that I read along with the books that the book club I belong to in Jersey read. I really like that, and I'm still part of the discussion. I phone in my reviews of the books when they have their meetings. I do a voice message, and they listen to it and let me know if they agree with me or disagree with me. I still miss out because I don't get to meet them and I don't get to be with them. And they're a really lovely bunch of ladies. I've just reserved the first book for 2026, which I can't remember what it is. I'll put the title up, and I'm looking forward to reading that. The second goal that you won't know about is that I'm learning Welsh. Dwi'n dysgu Cymraeg. This has been a bit of an ambition for a while. I'm on Duolingo. I have about 700 days plus under my belt with Duolingo. I also signed up for a course at the University of South Wales, and I did that for an academic year, 2 hours a week. My ambition isn't really to speak Welsh. My ambition is to be able to understand Welsh. I watch a soap on the Welsh channel. We have a channel in Welsh in the UK. They have a soap on there, and I don't generally watch soaps, but I watch this one. It's called Pobl I Cwm, which stands for the Valley People, and it's on 3 times a week, and I have to watch it with subtitles on because it's in Welsh. I catch the odd word, and I know what that means, and sometimes the odd phrase, but my ambition is to be able to watch programs without subtitles. And some of the programs on that channel are really, really good. Really good. What's another ambition? Well, this is one I've started, but I can't say I've made a great deal of progress with it, and it's to learn how to embroider. I really fancy embroidering something over the shoulder part of my denim jacket. And I've bought a few embroidery kits. Unfortunately, I think I've made some quite unwise choices about the embroidery kits because some of the ones I've bought don't have much variety in the stitches, so I'm not learning a great deal, but that is still an ambition, and I still have some embroidery kits. Another ambition that I have started is that I'd like to be more proficient in Tunisian crochet. Tunisian crochet is when you work with more than one stitch on a crochet hook. So you have a crochet hook with a hook on one end, but it's quite long, and you have loads of stitches on that hook, and you work backwards and forwards along the row of stitches. And I've done some Tunisian crochet, but I haven't actually made anything out of Tunisian crochet. And I think I would like to make something. So that's one of my ambitions. I have started in that I have practiced Tunisian crochet. I have got a Tunisian crochet hook, but I haven't gone any further. I haven't found a pattern that I really want to make. I haven't got the yarn for it, and I haven't got going. The other ambition is to make my son a jumper. Now, I've got started on this in that I've got the yarn, I've got the pattern, but there is an issue. And the issue is to do with the fact that another ambition of mine is to use some interchangeable needles that I was given as a gift 9 years ago. And these are cable needles that have got the ends, you screw on the different size needles that you want. And I was given them 9 years ago, and I thought they'd be perfect for making this jumper for my son. Unfortunately, the size I need won't screw on, and I can't work out why. And I think I need to spray it with WD-40 and give it another go, but I'm a bit concerned about spraying the knitting needle with WD-40, even though I've got surgical spirit to clean it off afterwards. I just really worry that I'll make it very slick and make it difficult to knit with. So I've got to get over that hump of being a bit scared to do that, because otherwise I've got no way of making this garment. So I need to try and see if I can sort out this issue. If I don't do that, I've got to get in touch with the place where these interchangeable needles were bought. And they were bought 9 years ago. I don't think there's a receipt for them anymore. And I didn't buy them anyway. So I'm not sure there's going to be a way of getting them fixed for free. I might have to buy another one of those needles, and I'm not even sure how I do that. Another ambition is, this is something I'm working on. Is it an ambition? I'm not sure. I'm working on 2 12-step programs. I obviously can't talk an awful lot about this because they're anonymous programs, but they take a lot of my time. And I'm very happy to give the time to them because I get so much out of it. And yeah, my ambition is to keep working on those and keep putting in the work and keep seeing my life improve. Hi, it's Editor Mandy here. I didn't think I explained that well about the 12-step program, so I thought I'd just jump in and give a little bit more context. I joined the first program in September 2021 because I was feeling extremely low. And then joining that program caused me to realize I needed to do additional work in a different area. So I joined the second program after a year. I would say that my life has been improved immensely by doing the 12-step programs. I didn't like myself very much 4 years ago, and I do now. I can say I do. I'm quite happy with myself. And there's lots of issues in my life that are slowly resolving. So that's why I want to carry on doing the work with the 12-step programs. And the work is going to meetings, chatting with my co-sponsees, reading literature, and doing shares. And I do that every day. So I hope that's explained a bit more about something that I can't talk about in too much detail. And the last ambition that I'm actually working on is to grow my hair. And this started because my son hated having his hair cut. And when he got to the age of 14, he moved to a school that don't require boys to have their hair cut. And he refused to have his hair cut. So he hasn't had his hair cut since he was about 13. And his hair got to the point where it was practically to the middle of his back. And then it stopped growing anymore. And I thought this was really interesting, that people have a length of hair that their hair will grow to, and it won't grow any further. And it was a new concept to me because I've always had my hair cut. So I've always just assumed you don't cut it, it'll keep growing until you're doing a tangled, you're putting your hair out the window for the prince to climb up. But no, there is an end stage. Some people's hair only grows to a certain length. And I thought, well, I'd quite like to know how long would my hair grow if I just let it grow and grow and grow. So that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing at the moment. I want to find out how long it will grow. I'm growing my hair to see how long it gets to, and when I think it stopped growing, because the majority of my hair is not grey, I'm going to donate it. I'm going to donate it to a charity called the Princess Trust, which makes wigs for children people under the age of 24 who have lost their hair because of a health condition. So yeah, I'm going to get my hair cut and then I'll send it to them and they can make a wig out of it. And I'll grow it again probably after that because I quite like having long hair. When I went back to Jersey, all my friends were telling me how lovely it was. Now, today you might say, well, it's not looking like it normally does. No, it isn't. Because when I watched the video of me making bread, I could see my hair from the back and I was like, oh, it looks really thin. I've always had really thick hair. Why does it look so thin? And then it occurred to me, maybe it's the conditioner. Maybe the conditioner's making it limp. So I decided to wash it without conditioner. And yes, it's got an awful lot more body than it does with conditioner. But I'm not sure I prefer it. So I'll probably go back to using conditioner next time. Then I've got some goals which are imminently to start. One of them is I want to make some bags out of crochet. I got some zips with that sewing kit I bought, and I want to make a bag that's big enough for my sock knitting so I can carry it around in a bag rather than in the plastic bag I carry it around in at the moment. So that's something I've got in mind. I've got the zip. I got the zip in the sewing kit I bought. I just need to get on and start that. And the last goal that's an individual goal, a personal goal, is I keep thinking that I'd like to write a book. Now, it's a very nebulous goal at the minute, and it's a very future goal. It's certainly not something I'm working on now. So, what are the community goals I'm working on in accordance with Lena Norris's The Death of Personal Goals video? Well, I do think it's important to support other people, and I do help family where I can. I don't just mean my kids, because I think that's pretty regular, isn't it? Helping the kids out, but this is extended family, helping them out with childcare. And I've got in my family a single mum of 3, and quite regularly I help with childcare. I also help by sewing toys. I am their seamstress, so sewing toys, sewing clothes, and sometimes I help with a bit of cooking, and sometimes I help with a bit of shopping. So there's bits of support I do for that member of my extended family. And I also think community work is important, and I'm a member of the patient participation group at my local surgery, and I helped out with the flu clinic. I would like to do more voluntary work, but I've been struggling with fatigue, as regular viewers will know, and so I haven't signed up for anything because I felt I'd be letting people down if I did, and I didn't want to do that. The fatigue has been much better lately, so I am thinking of perhaps doing some stints in a charity shop. There is a charity shop in my town. I'm not sure if they need volunteers. That's something I can find out. And there is also another charity that I'm thinking about that drives people to like hospital appointments and things like that. And I do like driving, so I did think that might be something to do as well. Apparently you get the petrol costs back. So I've got information on both of those, so I'm going to have a think about it and maybe sign up to something in the new year. So yeah, that's me and my goals and ambitions that I will be working on in 2026. And I'm working on them now, an awful lot of them. I hope you find that interesting. Thank you for getting all the way to the end of the video, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye!